DJI Mini 3 leak. Got that coming up next. Bill the Drone Reviewer here. If you like the content of this video or anything on my channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss any future content. With that, let's begin. The other night I hosted Rotor Talk Live and was joined by co-host Mr. Ron Braun. We spent the better part of the evening discussing all the latest regarding the DJI Mini 3, including the rumored picture of the body or the framework of the Mini 3, why the GPS issue resolution for the Mavic 3 is important to the Mini 3, and also potential pricing. Without any further ado, let's roll that clip in its entirety. What we're going to see here, now we did see today again Ositalev, and again, not an accident. We saw what really looks like a body for a Mini 3. Now I'm going to go ahead and share the screen on that, which was, it was very interesting that we got to see this today, Ron, because it's just like, as Lauren said, third week of March, you're going to start seeing some things, and boy, oh boy, his crystal ball is hitting the nail on the head with it.
You don't think Lauren and Ositalev are the same person, do you, Bill?
It could be. You never know. All right, let's take a look at this here. Now, these are stills from this short clip video, but you can tell, this is just, this is the body for what looks to be purported the Mini 3. Now that looks like where the gimbal's going to reside out front right here. And then it's like the rear where the battery's going to go. And then, there's the picture of it. And, this is kind of starting to bear up. Now, we did know that this was a bad Photoshop. What are your thoughts about this, Ron?
Well, just saw today like you, it looks like it could be the real deal, definitely. Again, we've mentioned, alluded a couple of times, Osilev's not just lucky in getting these leaks and whatever. Because if he really was doing something DJI didn't want to do, they would have shut him down years ago. So this is all, kind of an orchestrated deal here. So it probably is the real Mini 3 body. It looks like it could be. I don't have a lot of comments on a body shell. One body shell is as good as another next one to me, but it definitely could be real. Let's put it this way: how many times has Ositalev been dead wrong on something? Not too much.
Not too much. You're right. That's a very good point. Very rarely has he been wrong. As these leaks come out, it's interesting because the timing is, it's getting a little bit later in March, and we're hearing more and more, and we're getting closer to April. And, I know, like Lauren said, third week in March, you're going to start hearing some things. And sure enough, some things are starting to come out about it. But it was like today, not only with the Mini 3, but, there was just a whole host of DJI news today. It was all, firmware updates for the Air 2S,
Yes.
Firmware update for the Matrice, some official feedback that they're going to take care of the GPS issue with the Mavic 3. But the timing, all of this, and I'm going to say this, all of this, there's no time to talk about Autel. Okay. There's no, not that there's anything to really talk about right now, or Hubsan or FIMI or anything else. It's like DJI has a captive audience right now. And, this is being done on purpose, purposefully, having all these releases come out and just a firmware update for the Air 2S, just for stability and performance. And, Android 12 users, make sure you check, and update your apps, this kind of thing. Yep. This is all generating attention. And I think, this is all being generated towards the Mini 3. Okay. All this, it's really kind of like free advertising. DJI is not paying a penny for any of this. It gets out on social media. People are you guys were talking about it last night. We're talking about it again tonight. The Mavic, the Mini 3 leak came out today. which like I said, this timing, it's all part of their plan. And I'm thinking any day now, I would say realistically, we're going to wake up and either see on Drone XL or Drone DJ that it's hit the FCC ID database.
And that'll be the final straw. That means it's just weeks away from probably coming.
Right. And I think the only I won't say the only thing, but we'll actually see some real pictures, because they do have to publish pictures. Yes. And they do put it on a bench, that has the graph on it, so you can tell how many inches it is and everything. That has to be done, and that's part of the FCC rules. But I mean, there's going to be a whole host of questions. Number one, the specs, of course, on this. Number two, what's going to come with it? Is it going to have that new remote controller? Is it just going to be a standard remote? Are you going to have an option to purchase it a la carte? Is there going to be a Mini SE with this too? Will there be a Mini FPV, 3 FPV? It's just like there's a whole host of things that are going to be coming on. And I know we talked about price, and I know it's probably going to be in the $650 to $675 kind of ballpark for the drone, not the fly more, but the drone itself, which, if it has all the features that we have been talking about, Ron, I don't think that's a bad price.
I don't. And as we talked about, I think the price is the most important thing. If they price the standard model or the most affordable model at the same price as the Autel Nano Plus or whatever, I think a lot of Mini 2 owners are just going to stay put with their Mini 2.
I think you're right.
You won't see a mass upgrade if they put this thing at the $900, $950 thing as the Nano Plus. So I think the most important thing when we do see the official release, I think beyond camera, obstacle avoidance, all that business or whatever, number one, what's that old movie, Show Me the Money, Show Me the Price.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Jerry Maguire, Show Me the Money. Yeah.
Jerry Maguire. I mean, with the Mavic 3, you warned people all last year that, it was going to be, sticker shock. It was going to be a lot of money. And on a kind of a high-level pro super drone, you kind of expected, and those customers are willing to pay more. But this mini price, it's a lot of people out there that build their own drone as a Mini 2 or the Mini 1 or Mini 2. And they're not ready for a double in the price of the drone.
Oh yeah. So, yeah. And Lauren says, I know this will be higher than my original 649. So
oh boy.
Okay. All right. Well, and Lauren, we're thankful for your information. We do genuinely greatly appreciate you, and we do appreciate your photography as well. You do.
Now, Bill, Bill, one question. This will probably be concern of a lot of people. You saw the news today where a new version of the Omicron. I hate to talk about the virus. People are sick of hearing about it, but you've heard it ramped up in China, and they've shut down some factories in Shenzhen. Was especially and Apple has even stopped production. These Mini 3s, do you think they're already made? And already in the U.S. or in the way the U.S. warehouses, this shutdown won't affect the initial batch of the drones. Will
no. Okay. They're either on ships over here or already here, getting ready to go to warehouses. Okay,
but I guess one point, do you think, okay, if you want one, you better grab on this first batch, because if they sell out, the second batch may be slow in coming because of the corona virus. Hitting Shenzhen pretty hard. I'm just speculating here, Bill, on all of this.
Well, it's a good point, because there's a real popular ham radio. China is also the really good, and just digress for just a quick sec. The Japanese make some exceptional ham radios, and they're the two or three top brands. But over in China, there are several out there. And one of the manufacturers was talking about a delay in getting it shipped to the United States because of this, because the virus has had a flare up in certain areas over in China. and shipping will be delayed. So I would expect the same thing with this. But you brought up an excellent point, Ron, and I think those of you who really want this drone, you just hit the buy button as soon as it gets released. Okay, don't hesitate, because if you do, you're going to probably have to wait for a while, because you're going to have to wait. Excuse me. You're going to have to wait for the new batch to come overseas from China, and that could take a while.
Yeah,
that really
and probably the best advice, Bill, we learned is too. If unless you're a gambling man, order it from a kind of a U.S. based reseller that will take returns and not charge you or not have you pay expensive shipping to take it back. You want your all reliables, Bill, your Best Buy, your Amazon, your VH
yes, exactly.
Photo, your reliables. Don't. I mean, I know, Banggood then maybe selling a tube or some don't buy from somebody
Banggood or AliExpress or something like that. And they always charge an inflated price anyway. With them, and their shipping is always iffy and everything, and you don't need that. Okay, when you want to get something like this, hit Best Buy, hit Adorama, hit B&H Photo, hit Amazon, some of the big box retailers here, because having a brick and mortar store to be able to take this back to is priceless. Okay, because I've seen it and I've heard it in countless incidents where somebody's bought a new DJI drone, something's wrong with it, they take it back to Best Buy, boom, they get a replacement drone right on the spot. There's no haggle, there's no issues, there's no nothing. It gets addressed, it gets taken care of. And and it's perfectly, that's the way to go, because otherwise you got to start dealing with DJI support and all this, and you don't want to have to go through that. And yes, you can still get DJI Care Refresh if you do buy it at Best Buy or Amazon or any of the big box stores. So don't worry about that. But I think you guys know my thoughts on DJI Care Refresh. My DJI Care Refresh is with State Farm. Okay, in my insurance policy, which I think's the way to go. And it's what, $75 a year. You can't beat that. You absolutely can't beat that at all. Not at all. Well, but yeah, I think they are here in the U.S. Okay, or they're in a ship on their way to the U.S., not being affected by the virus. So I don't think that's going to be an issue at all. And I do think there's going to be some type of new remote control that's going to be offered with this, Ron. Whether it's, I think the foldable design, I think that was just something, again, to get focus on DJI and get people looking and people talking and people interested. I don't know if this is something that's going to come out right now. I may have said something different earlier. I don't know if that's coming out right now or we'll see this, but I think at least a la carte, there's going to be a new remote option. It's going to be offered with the Mini 3, and obviously that price is going to be well over $1,000.
Right, and it's okay if they have different price levels, like but they need to have an affordable SKU in the lineup.
Yeah, and I believe the way to go with something like this is to say buy, and this is one of the things that I've learned on my own. Okay, like with the Mavic 3, I only have 2 batteries for it. I didn't buy the Firmware kit. I didn't get 2 extra batteries. I only got 1 extra battery for it because it has a great runtime to begin with. Okay, I've never had a need to go to a 3rd battery with something like this when I've flown it. Okay, and I've flown some pretty good trips with it, and I get some great runtime with it. So, yeah. And I on purpose, I don't see a need to have a 3rd battery or something like this. Everybody's different. Everybody wants to do that. And some people look at the Firmware is a great deal. Supposedly, yes, but with that carrying case, the carrying case, in my opinion, has always been a joke. Okay, I don't want to say a total joke, but I mean, on a trip to the beach or something, you could take it with you. But if you're doing some serious photography or videography and wanting to take it out and about and everything, that drone is not that case is not going to be substantial and meet your needs. Okay, you're going to need to get something hard shelled, that will protect that, and that's not going to do that. That's just my opinion.
Yeah. And
So,
yeah, and I forget the retailer. But did you see this store today, Bill? Somebody is offering a Mavic 3 with the RC Pro bundle. You get the Floorboard kit and the RC Pro, which would normally be like around $4,200, but it was $300 off today, so it was like $38.99. And I posted that in Drone Nation, but I forget who was offering this deal.
yeah, I think it was on DJI's website, to be
Oh,
honest with
DJI themselves. Okay,
you.
good,
DJI
good,
themselves, yeah.
good,
I think it
good.
was, yeah,
And
yeah,
Bill,
and
do we want to bring up a sore subject? Remember a couple months ago when DJI was promising that they would reimburse people who bought the Mavic 3 and then the smart controller separately, and then we never heard anything more about it?
yeah, it's been locked lip. Haven't heard a thing. Nothing on that. Yeah, I agree. That's a good topic, Ron. It was nice because I led the show off that DJI's finally acknowledged that there's a GPS issue with the Mavic 3 and it's going to get addressed, which is a good thing, because they've received a ton of emails and texts and tweets about this, and they're addressing it and they're getting it taken care of, which is a good thing.
Yeah. Hey,
This
Bill, real quick, I want to stop you right there. We talked about this a little bit last night. Now, we've talked about a lot of, say, confirmed rumors, OC, but I'm going to talk about an unconfirmed rumor here that I've heard. I've heard that the Mini 3 will not come out until the satellite issue is fixed, because the Mini 3 is going to have the same setup as the Mavic 3, and they won't have two drones out at the same time that take 5 minutes to get their satellites.
okay.
Have you heard, or what do you think of that?
I heard you guys talking about it last night. I don't know because
I mean, let me put it this way: would it be a disaster if the Mini 3 comes out and it takes 5-6 minutes for it to get satellite?
yeah.
Yeah.
For us who are with the Mavic 3, I'll call serious hobbyists. Okay, we can and we're not the kind that need to have the at the right time. Most of us aren't. It's just like we want to go up and get some great video. Okay, but some people are that they want to time it right, get a sunset, catch a sunrise, position of this or that during the day, where it's a little more important. Okay, and it's just be aware, and just start a little earlier, kind of a thing. Well, for the Mini 3 crowd, okay, because your demographic is going to be much younger for something like that. And a lot of them, I'll say it like it is, a lot of millennials won't have that kind of patience, okay? They'll be frustrated. They'll take them back. They'll take them back to the store and get a refund.
In other words, if people get the Mini 3, come home, take 6 minutes to sell it, it could be like a Hubson moment for DJI, where people are making videos, and it's going to be an embarrassing situation, like you said. And Best Buy is going to call DJI and say, "What's up? We just had half of our Mini 3 stock come back in returns today."
Yeah. Well, I think what's happening is I think DJI is heads down on getting this issue resolved with the Mavic 3. And I think we'll see something within the next couple of weeks. And when it gets resolved, that's also going to take care of anything with the Mini 3 as well. I can, my prediction is within a couple of weeks, it's going to get taken care of. And, I went back and I looked at something because, when I originally got the Mavic 2 and I found that, there was the landing issue, my very first flight, and I pinged DJI about it. Well, it took about a month and a half, and then they issued a firmware update, and it got taken care of, which was good. Okay, because I wasn't the only one. I brought it to the forefront. Others jumped on it, got DJI's attention, and it got taken care of. Okay, so it was about a month and a half. This has been going on a little longer than a month and a half. So, and I think enough noise has been made that DJI is paying attention to it and is getting it taken care of, because they realize if this unconfirmed rumor is true, then they don't want to stall the Mini 3. They want to get it out because spring break, summer's coming up. Nice weather's coming up, less windy down here, of course. It's coming up, and people will want to get out there and use these drones. And,
And take a little wind out of the sails of the Altel Nanos.
exactly, okay? Because this is one thing I think DJI was counting on to have a smooth release. In order, evidently, obviously, in order to have a smooth release, they can't have anything wrong with the OcuSync or with not OcuSync, but with the GPS. And if it's like you said, if it's the same, then I see DJI is probably head down saying, our number one priority right now is getting this GPS issue addressed and taken care of. And I think they're working. I think they're probably beta testing it right now. I think we're probably a week or two away from seeing a fix for this. I really do. And then, if it's true that it affects the Mini 3, then that'll take care of itself as well too.
Yeah, I hope you're right, Bill.
I hope so too, because I don't think DJI can't afford a delay with a Mini 3. They really can't.
Yeah, because we don't know numbers or whatever, but I mean, the DJI is going to sell like make a number of 10 times as many Mini 3s as it did Mavic 3. So as much squawking you see here on the Mavic 3 about satellites, can you imagine when you times that number times 10 or 15 or 20 with the Mini 3 or whatever, with all the complaining and the what do you call DJI's customer service get overrun with text messages, emails, chats about this issue. In other words, Bill, you won't want to be working in DJI's IT if the Mini 3 comes out, when the numbers are going to sell and it takes 5 minutes for satellites to come in. You're going to be working overtime.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And one thing that I found out, and I've heard, and I've seen it on forums, and people have posted about it with the issue is, when you're using a second or a third battery on a Mavic 3 and you've flown, I think, part of it, and I know Lauren talked about something about being cached and having that in memory. Okay. I've heard a lot of people say it's been quicker, like on a second or a third battery,
no doubt. Yep.
So, I think, they're on the cusp of getting this taken care of, which will be nothing but good news for Mavic 3 owners. And also for them, they'll be able to not worry about getting a Mini 3 and having a GPS issue, right out of the gate with a drone that hasn't, literally haven't even been sold yet. Question of the day. What did you think of the DJI Mini 3 leak? Let me know in the comments section below. Thanks so much for watching, and remember, it's a great day to fly.